You're a totally selfish person, my mom yelled across the dinner table. Adam, my brother, laughed and shook his head like it was all a joke. I just sat there, gripping my fork, feeling the familiar weight of frustration settle in my chest. It was her birthday. I had taken her to a nice restaurant, paid for everything, even bought her a present. I didn't expect much in the way of thanks. Gratitude wasn't exactly her strong suit. But I also didn't expect to be torn apart the second I said something she didn't like. I can't help with the mortgage anymore, I said. I quit my job. Silence. Then my mom blinked as if I had spoken another language. Adam's grin faded. You've got to be kidding me. I wasn't, and honestly, I should have done this a long time ago. I'd been covering my mom's mortgage for the last 8 months. Not helping cover it. Paying it. I also sent her extra money every month because, as she liked to say, family has to help family. Fonzielli. That was her favorite line. She would pull it out whenever she needed something. And Adam, of course, backed her up every time, especially when it came to his own bank account. $4,000. That's how much I'd sent him for his self-improvement courses. He claimed he was working on bettering himself, but I never saw any proof. No books, no certificates, no real effort. Just vague comments about investing in himself while he sat around waiting for me to foot the bill. And for years, I did. That was the worst part. I let it happen. I was the responsible one. The one who got good grades. The one who worked through college. The one who got a solid job right out of college. I never asked for help because I knew there wouldn't be any. But the minute I started making good money, I suddenly had an obligation to help. At first, I didn't mind. Helping my family felt like the right thing to do, but then it stopped feeling like help and started feeling like an obligation. Every month they expected more. If I said no, my mother would guilt me, remind me of all she had done for me, tell me I was ungrateful. And Adam, he just went along, nodding his head in agreement, happily taking whatever I gave him. But quitting my job? That wasn't part of their plan. In their minds, I was supposed to work endlessly, keep paying, never complain. The idea that I might actually want to keep my own money was unthinkable. I wouldn't even leave them high and dry. I was willing to pay the mortgage for one last month. That was reasonable, right? 1 month to give them some time to figure things out. But of course it wasn't enough. It was never enough. My mother scoffed. You're being ridiculous, she said. You know what will happen if you don't help. Adam leaned forward and shook his head. You're seriously going to screw us like this? You know I still need your help. I'm trying to do something with my life, and you're just going to drop everything? I actually laughed, because the irony was incredible. He was acting like I owed him something, like I hadn't already sacrificed thousands of dollars for his so-called future. Let's see who pays your mortgage, I said, calmly, staring straight at her. Her face twitched. She still didn't believe me. You wouldn't do that, she said. You're not that kind of person. Something inside me snapped. I grabbed my jacket and got up. Good luck, I said, and walked out of the restaurant without looking back. For 2 weeks, nothing. No calls, no texts. It was the longest silence I had ever received from them. Then, just as the next mortgage payment was due, my phone rang, and that's when things got completely out of hand. For the first time in years, my phone wasn't constantly buzzing with my mom's guilt trips, or my brother's fake concern masking yet another request for money. No reminders about family obligations. No passive-aggressive texts. Just quiet. I should have known it wouldn't last. The morning the mortgage payment was due, my phone started ringing. Mom's name came up. I let it go to voicemail. She called again, then again. On the 5th call, I finally picked up. She wouldn't even let me say hello. Where is it? I stretched out on my couch. Where's what? The mortgage payment, Jack. It was due today. I didn't answer right away. I wanted to see how long it would take her to answer her own question. It took 3 seconds. You were serious? You're actually not paying? She sounded more puzzled than angry, like she really thought I was bluffing. I told you, I said. Last month was the last. A pause. Then she let out a dry laugh. I thought you were just throwing a temper tantrum. A tantrum. That was what she called it. Like I was a spoiled child refusing to share his toys instead of an adult finally setting boundaries. I sighed. Mom, I don't have a job. I won't send you any more money. Her voice sharpened. So what? You're just going to let us lose the house? I let that sit for a second. Let us lose the house. As if the last 8 months of mortgage payments I'd covered didn't exist. As if it wasn't their house, their responsibility. You had 2 weeks, I said. You should have come up with something by now, she scoffed. Oh, don't give me that. 2 weeks isn't enough time. You have savings. You could help if you wanted to. And there it was. The assumption that my money was just a shared family fund. That my hard-earned savings weren't mine, but a backup account for when she needed it. Then she dropped something new. Well, if you won't help, someone else will. My boyfriend will step in. I sat up straighter. Boyfriend? I knew she was seeing someone, but I had never paid attention. She had gone through a lot of short-term relationships, none of them lasting long. His name is Mike, she said, and he actually cares about this family, unlike you. I almost laughed. And what? Is he going to start paying your mortgage now? Not yet, she admitted, but he wants to talk to you. I knew where this was going. No thanks. Before I could hang up, her voice went cold. Let me be clear, Jack. If you don't help, he's going to get involved. I had no idea what that meant, but I was about to find out. The next day, Mike showed up at my apartment. I wasn't expecting a visitor. It was late afternoon, and I had just gotten back from the gym when I heard a knock. Loud and patient. Not a casual knock. More like someone expecting me to open the door right now. I checked the peephole. A guy I didn't recognize was standing there. Tall, maybe late 40s, built like someone who used to go to the gym but had let himself go a bit. Balding. Cheap leather jacket. The kind of face that always looked on the verge of smirking. I knew who it was before he even opened his mouth. I opened the door, but didn't open it all the way. Yeah? Mike? He said, like that should mean something to me. When I didn't answer, he added, Your mom's boyfriend. We need to talk. I exhaled through my nose. I don't think we do. He grinned. Are you going to invite me in? Nope. His grin twitched. All right. We'll do it like this then. He crossed his arms, shifting his weight as if to settle in. Your mom's upset. She's stressed. And frankly, I don't blame her. You're leaving your family in a really bad place, kid. I leaned against the doorframe. She told you that I pay her mortgage, right? And that I told her months ago that I wouldn't do it forever? Mike shrugged. She told me you left her and your brother. You got your big job, made your money, then left her high and dry. I laughed. Really laughed. She told you that? That's what I know. No, he corrected, squinting at me. Because I see reality, Jack. Your mom is hurting, and you're sitting here in your nice apartment, living your life, while she's wondering if she'll have a place to sleep next month. I stared at him for a moment. She sent you here to shake me down, didn't she? Mike scoffed. Nah, man. I volunteered. I wasn't sure if that was better or worse. Listen, he said, lowering his voice as if he wanted to sound reasonable. I get it. You want to do your own thing. Be independent. That's great. But this isn't just about you. Your mother needs stability. Your brother's trying to build a future. And you, he pointed at me, you're the one in the best position to help. I was done. Not my problem. His expression darkened. Yeah, see, that's the thing. It is your problem. I tilted my head. How do you figure? Mike took a step toward the door. Because if you don't step up, I will. And you're not going to like the way I do things. That caught me off guard. Excuse me? You think I don't know what you do? I do. He tapped his temple. And I know exactly how much you've saved. Your mother showed me the bank transfers. You've got a lot. So either you help, or, He trailed off, but the implication was clear. I stared at him. I was truly stunned. Not just by the audacity, but by the threat. Then I smiled. You said my mom showed you my wire transfers? Mike grinned as if he had won. That's right. Cool, I said. That's illegal. The grin slipped. And since I never gave her access to my accounts, I continued, I'm guessing she either went through my personal information without permission or lied about why she needed the money. Either way, I'd like to see what my bank has to say about this. Mike's face twitched. Look, kid. I cut him off. You got 10 seconds to get out of my house before I call the cops. 9. He hesitated. 8. His jaw tightened. 7. He turned and walked away. I waited until he was completely down the hall before I closed the door. My hands trembled, not with fear, but with adrenaline. Because this wasn't just a family drama anymore. This was something else. Something uglier. And I had a feeling it wasn't over. Something about Mike's visit stuck with me. Not just the threats, but the fact that my mother had actually shown him my bank transfers. I kept replaying the conversation in my head, wondering how long she had let this guy pry into my personal business. By morning, I had decided I wasn't going to let it go. But when I stepped outside and saw my car, my stomach sank. Left front tire flat. Slashed, actually. And above the driver's side door, a deep, jagged scratch from a key. I didn't have to guess who'd done it. I took a slow breath, forced myself to stay calm, then pulled out my phone and called my mom. She answered on the second ring as if she had been waiting for me. Before I could say anything, she sighed dramatically. Oh, so now you want to talk. My car got trashed, I said flatly. Flat tire, keyed door. You want to explain that? She didn't even try to deny it. Well, maybe next time you'll think twice before making your family suffer. I gritted my teeth. This is how you handle things now? Sending your boyfriend to threaten me and then trashing my car? She scoffed. This is nothing. If you don't fix this, it's going to get worse. Something inside me snapped. I hung up, opened the trunk, and went to work. All the while my mind was racing. My hands were steady as I replaced the spare, but my pulse was pounding. They wanted to scare me. They wanted me to break. Not happening. 30 minutes later, I was in the car, speeding toward my mom's house. I had no plan. I just knew I was done playing defense. As I pulled into the driveway, I barely had time to turn off the engine before the front door swung open. My mom stepped out, arms crossed, looking bored, like I was the unreasonable one around here. Then behind her, the screen door creaked open, and Mike appeared. But that wasn't all. Adam was there too, and he wasn't alone. There was another guy, someone I didn't recognize, leaning against the porch railing, arms covered in tattoos, watching me with a grin. And at that moment, I realized something. This wasn't just about money anymore. They were waiting for me. As soon as I got out of the car, I knew something was wrong. My mom was standing on the porch with her arms crossed, a smug look on her face like she had already won. Mike was next to her, grinning like he was enjoying a private joke. Adam leaned against the doorframe, avoiding eye contact. But it was the other guy, tattoos, buzz cut, about my age but rougher, that really set off alarms in my head. I had no idea who he was, but he was watching me too closely, as if he was waiting for something. I closed the car door and walked up the driveway. All right, I said. Who's the extra? The tattoo guy grinned but didn't answer. My mom did. This is Ryan, she said. Like that explained everything. A friend of the family. Mike chuckled. He helps out when people won't listen. Ah. So this was an intimidation thing. Cute. I crossed my arms. So let me get this straight. You slashed my tire, keyed my car, and now you've got some hired goon trying to scare me? Ryan actually laughed at that. Hired goon? That's funny. Mike stepped forward. Nobody wants this to get ugly, Jack. But if you don't start cooperating, it's going to get worse. I stared at him. Worse? You're playing a dangerous game, kid, he said. You've got money. You have savings. And you think you can just walk away and leave your family in the gutter? He clicked his tongue. It doesn't work like that. I glanced at Adam, who was still hanging back near the door, shifting uncomfortably. Are you okay with this, Adam? You really co-sign this? He hesitated, then muttered, You're the one making this hard, man. I let out a slow breath. Wow. Okay. I turned back to my mother. So what's the plan here? I start paying again, and all this magically goes away? Her expression didn't change. You should want to help your family. You have the means. The whole situation is your fault. I laughed. I really laughed. My fault? I have been paying for everything for months. The second I stop, you bring in reinforcements to beat me up? Ryan snorted. Nobody's roughing anybody up. But things break. Accidents happen. It'd be a shame if your car got totaled next time. There it was. The full threat. I tilted my head and stared at him. Did you do this yourself? Or did Mommy's boyfriend help? His smirk twitched. Which do you think? I nodded slowly. Good to know. Then I reached into my jacket pocket, pulled out my phone, and held it up. The recording app was open. The timer, 3 minutes and 12 seconds. Dead silence. Mike's eyes narrowed. What's that? I smiled. Oh, just a little insurance. I turned up the volume and hit play. You have money. You have savings. And you think you can just walk away and leave your family in the gutter? Click. It doesn't work that way. Click. Accidents happen. It'd be a shame if your car got totaled next time. Ryan's smirk disappeared. Adam turned pale. Mike's expression darkened. My mom? She even looked nervous. I put the phone back in my pocket. So here's what's going to happen, I said. You're all going to back off. No more calls, no more visits, no more accidents. Because if anything else happens to me, my car, my apartment, hell, even my mail, that recording goes straight to the cops. Mike clenched his jaw. You wouldn't do that, you sure? I raised an eyebrow. Because I'd like to see what the cops think about a bunch of threats. Financial exploitation and destruction of property. I nodded at Ryan. Especially from your new little boyfriend. Ryan opened his mouth, then closed it. I exhaled. We're done here. I turned and walked back to my car and got in. As I pulled out of the driveway, I caught a glimpse of them in the rearview mirror. My mom angry. Mike stone-faced. Ryan looking at the ground. And Adam? He was just standing there staring at me. I didn't know what was going through his mind, but in that moment, I didn't care. This wasn't over. Not by a long shot. For the first hour after I left my mother's house, I was shaking with adrenaline. My fingers were tight on the wheel, my mind racing with everything I could do to make them pay. I had enough to ruin them. I could take the recording to the police, have Mike arrested for making threats, maybe even have Ryan investigated. I had no idea what he was up to, but he didn't seem like the kind of guy to keep his hands clean. I could expose my mom for financial exploitation, drag Adam through the mud, burn every bridge they had left. They had used me, milked me for money, guilted me, and when I finally said enough, they turned on me like I was the bad guy. They slashed my tire, keyed my car, sent a thug to intimidate me, and now they were afraid. For once, I had the power. And yet the longer I drove, the more I realized something. I didn't really care about revenge. Revenge meant staying involved. It meant giving them more of my energy, my time, my thoughts. It meant that even if I won, I'd still have to deal with them. And I was so tired of dealing with them. So instead of planning how to get even, I started thinking about something else. Something bigger. What if I just left? Not just my apartment. Not just the city, but everything. By the time I pulled into my parking lot, the decision was made. I was leaving, and I wasn't coming back. I went inside, grabbed a suitcase, and started packing clothes, essentials, my laptop, The things I actually cared about. The rest didn't matter. Then I made the important phone calls. First, my landlord. I told him I was moving out immediately, breaking the lease, and paid the fee without a second thought. He didn't even ask why. Next, my bank. Locked everything down. New passwords, fraud alerts, extra security. If my mom had been snooping into my finances before, she wasn't going anywhere near them now. Then I wiped my social media clean, deactivated accounts, removed contacts, cut any digital thread that could lead back to me. By nightfall, I had booked a one-way ticket. New city, new state, somewhere near the ocean, because why not? The next morning, before I left for the airport, I sent Adam one last message. Tell Mom to stop calling. I'm done. Don't try to find me. Good luck. Then I blocked his number, blocked all her numbers, and that was it. As I sat in the airport waiting for my flight, a strange sense of calm came over me. For the first time in my life, I didn't feel obligated to fix anything. I wasn't carrying someone else's problems. I wasn't waiting for the next guilt trip, the next demand, the next financial drain. I was free. As the plane took off, I looked out the window and smiled. They could call me selfish. They could hate me. They could tell themselves whatever lies made them feel better. I didn't care, because for the first time in years, my life was mine. I landed in Los Angeles with nothing but a suitcase and the feeling that, for the first time in my life, I was actually free. The moment I stepped out of the airport, the warm air hit me, salty from the ocean, thick with city life. Palm trees lined the streets. The skyline stretched endlessly. Everything felt new. Mine. I found a small apartment in Santa Monica, a short walk from the beach. It wasn't much. A tiny kitchen, creaky floors, a landlord who returned texts 2 days late. But it had a balcony. Every morning, I drank my coffee out there, watched the sunrise paint the ocean gold, listened to the waves crash instead of my mother's voice demanding money. I got a job. Not a stressful corporate job like before. Something easy. Something that paid enough to cover the rent and let me enjoy my life. No more breaking my back to pay for other people's lifestyles. One night, about a month after I moved, I was sitting on the sand watching the waves when my phone buzzed with an unknown number. I almost ignored it, but something inside me was curious. I answered. A pause, then a familiar voice. Jack. Adam. I didn't say anything. He let out a slow breath. Mom's losing the house. I looked out at the ocean, the moonlight stretching over the waves. Okay, I said. Silence. Then, that's it? Yeah, I said. That's it. I hung up, blocked the number, then I got up, dusted the sand off my jeans, and walked home. For the first time in my life, their problems weren't my problems, and it felt damn good.